how to successfully reactivate girls who flaked on you on Tinder and get them straight to the bedroom on their very first date. Yo, what's up guys, it's Pat with another value bomb for you guys out there, and this is another text game breakdown from one of my students. And in this video you're gonna learn how to successfully reactivate girls who flaked on you, who ghosted you, how to sexualize over text, how to overcome objections when you try to make a home date, and last but not least, how to set up an actual home date with a virgin on their very first day and get laid. And as you can see guys, in this video I took it a notch up with an increased difficulty level, as I want to really cover everything you guys out there are facing and don't want to just post some easy peasy lace, but I want to cover as much as possible to help you. Therefore, as you know from my videos, I explain every line by line in detail, so therefore make sure to stay till the very end. And I actually find it kind of very funny as well as sad that you don't get videos like this from your favorite dating coach out there, where he posts his student testimonials, his student breakdowns of actual results. And we talk about famous dating coaches with tons of subscribers. I'm almost showing it daily, on a daily basis, on my YouTube community, on my Telegram group, on my Facebook group. And if you're new to the channel, you can clap yourself on the shoulder as you finally found a channel with practical, no bullshit dating advice. And if you ask yourself, why is this guy so entitled to speak like this? Well, because I'm long enough in this industry to tell you that not everything that glitters is gold, and there are many fake gurus out there. For a fact, vast majority of my students who come to me for dating advice come from such famous, world-renowned pickup artists where they get no results, as well as this student actually, who spent thousands and thousands of dollars at another boot camp. And this guy was one of the guys who never kissed a girl in his life, who never had a date in his whole life. But thanks to my coaching, this guy changed his dating life forever and constantly lands dates with beautiful girls, has fuck buddies, has dates, straight home dates with girls. And as you can see here in this following breakdown, it's easy as it can be. And this can be as well you out there if you're gonna decide, hey, you know what, thanks for the free value. I joined the Telegram group, I joined the Facebook group, I see all the testimonials, I see all the value, I gained a lot of value and made some friends, but somehow I wanna learn more as my student, effortlessly in just 1 month. Then make sure to click the link down in the description and book a free 30-minute call with me personally, where we'll go through all your struggles, through your dating goals, and trust me, I will get you there, as I got tons of other students as well. And in case you're new and ask yourself, who is this guy giving texting advice out there? Well, on a side note, I was voted back-to-back into the top 3 of best pickup artists of the year in the category Textgame, surpassing more than 60 contenders, guys very famous you probably heard of. So I think I have a quite good knowledge. With any further ado, let's crack straight into the Textgame breakdown. So here we have the text, of course, texting with a girl and number closing the girl on Tinder. We already passed that. He wrote with the girl. I assume he already set up a kind of date with her. But as you can see, or as you will see, she ghosted him. It starts with which movie and which genre does she like. She writes, I like horrors, thrillers, what about you? Then he writes action movies and fantasy. She writes back, oh, nice, nice. What's your favorite film? He writes back the next morning, that's a difficult question, I think Last Samurai. And then after that, she doesn't respond anymore. And on 26, like 4 days later, he writes, hey, how's it going? Do you have time this week? Now he did some mistakes here. I don't want to dive that deep now, because obviously there is much going on here and it would be of an information overload. But what he did and what I advise to you guys out there, and this is a mistake many guys out there are doing, is trying to get to know the girl over text. And the problem is you don't have really much of a red path to follow and steer the wheel where and how you want it. Then of course you tend to slide into her script, you know, and you totally forget about okay, where do I want to have it actually, you know, what is my goal with this texting? And the goal with texting is to set up a date. And of course it's not as easy as many dating coaches say to, oh, texting is here to set up a date. Yeah, it is here to set up a date, but it's also how to set up a date, you know, amp up emotions. And then on the peak you set up a date, so you make sure this is a date or a proposal she cannot flake, you know. And as the Godfather would say, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Too long talking about movies back and forth, and then afterwards, just because she said a couple of days ago maybe that she's up for a date, you cannot assume that she's up anymore because somehow the emotions went down. And then full of desperation, of course, guys are asking, hey, is our date still standing? And of course they get no answer, you know, as same as here. So what did we do here? She's into horror movies and thrillers. So all you have to do is to just, and that's what I'm saying with amping up emotions. And what's the best way to amp up emotions, or again, amping up emotions, and as it is in this case, just create a callback humor. And for sure you created already a callback humor, maybe multiple callback humors or topics you talked about, which you can turn into a callback humor. And if there are multiple topics, then always make sure it's the topic where she invested somehow the most, where her emotions were the best and most visible, you know. Plus as well, and point number 2, a topic you can talk about too. There is no point if she, for example, bringing up makeup, or let's say fully something contradictory, football, that you choose going with the makeup and create a callback humor with the makeup, because obviously as a man you don't have really much to talk about it, you don't have really much to give or add to it. And therefore football, if it's on the same emotional level for her, then of course it's better to go with the football topic than with the makeup one. But yeah, I don't know how many callback humors we had here, because he just sent me this screenshot and I was supposed to help him out here only. So I only know about, as I said, the movies. Before you send some shit, you know, before you send up another brick of text or call her, which is even worse, because there again, you put, and this is actually the most stupidest thing you can do, because you lose even more value in her eyes with a call, because obviously 99% I can tell you she won't pick up the phone, you know. If she even didn't respond to a one-liner, then she probably won't pick up the phone either. So that's the worst thing you can do. Next worst thing, of course, sending a big brick of text, especially when it's something non-emotional, something logical, something explaining or defending yourself, whatever. So all it took for me was going on Google, type in, and this takes 1 minute. Type in horror memes or horror gifs, whatever. And you find this beautiful Leatherface Texas Chainsaw meme here saying, if she loves horror movies, never let her go. Which of course I want to create a callback humor with the topic of horror movies she's into, you know. And as I said, with memes, with GIFs, with pictures in general, you give away very, very low value. This is not something you can, and this is minimizing the validation as good as possible, you know, keeping it on a minimum. This was our Hail Mary basically, but we didn't lose much of value, you know, if she wouldn't have responded. But of course, as I'm Pat, she responded to that. Major serial killer vibes. Now, is it something big, something of, hey, yeah, let's go on a date? Of course not. And she didn't even respond. She responded, of course, to the meme, but not to the date suggestion, which tells us, hey, we have to amp up more emotions. We wanted to just to achieve with a reactivating text, with the reactivating meme that she responds, which she did. I want to have to get it farther. You know, it's not done just because she responded that we can shoot again. Hey, you ignore my message. What are you up to next week? So rewrite, well, I promise I'm more of a cuddle during scary movies type than a chase you with a chainsaw kind of guy, unless you prefer the thrill. We, of course, want to strengthen this callback humor we just are about to create, you know, horror movie callback humor. And refer to, of course, Leatherface, to the Leatherface character here. And already subconsciously set up a kind of soft close. Give her an idea or put in the seed of us with her, you know, being together. And unless you prefer the thrill. And of course, subconsciously what we're doing, we start to sexualize, or I would call it creating a flirty vibe with our last sentence, strategically adding 2 emojis. First, the pervert winky emoji, as well as an escape route, the other one, and to tone down a little bit more pressure, you know, and leave it open with those dots. I'm a big fan of leaving kind of open messages, which are not fully finished sentences, where you can add a little bit more to it later or leave something to the imagination of her. To that she responds, again, with 3 laughing emojis, I can't decide if I should be scared or not. And then she writes, the country my student is from are law-abiding people, right? killing won't be roaming around so freely, I assume. So she goes with our callback humor here. Already you can see like the number of laughing emojis is kind of emotional invest. That's what we want to have. And to this we write, only charming guys who have a thing for cute, again refer to the country girl is from, loving horror movies. Now we keep on the flirty vibe, extend it a little bit more, but in our mind we always have a kind of excuse when we are using this kind of thing. We put it to these horror movies. Now then she responds to that, tell my parents I love them after you finished me off. Now this is again with the emojis, and that's why it's important to use emojis. Don't listen to all these retards telling you, hey, don't use emojis with girls, it shows that you're not alpha, whatever. Don't do this, please. I will do a separate video of why to use emojis, and there is a strategy of why and which kind of emojis to use. As you can see here, she doesn't mean it seriously, you know. When she puts in 3 laughing emojis, to tell my parents I love them after you finish me off, she just plays along, you know, with our horror theme here. You sure your parents want to hear the full story in detail of how pleasureful and satisfied you've been enjoying this ecstatic experience? Now here again, as you can see, that gets more and more sexual, you know, it has a more and more sexual undertone. And we refer to this finish me off. We basically take things and on purpose misunderstand them, you know, basically use the double meaning of those words and sentences she gives to us. She knows what's up, you know. We take this horror theme kind of us being the serial killer, pleasureful and satisfying, finishing her off, and she will enjoy the experience, blah blah. But actually, hey, you're gonna enjoy what we're going to do in the bedroom, you know. Of course, not finish her off in a serial killer kind of way. And she writes, you're sneaky. Of course, you know, this is what girls want to hear. This is the kind of sexual texting girls want to have with guys. And yeah, if you want to make a good decision, as well as my student did, sign up for the mastermind. I can highly recommend that. If you want to learn how to text like this, all you have to do is click the link down in the description. And we write, sneak enough that you're gonna be a good girl and won't break any strict horror movie rules. And again here, question mark followed by the 3 dots, kind of open-ended question, which leaves a little bit more to imagination. We implement already, good girl, but we stick still to this horror theme. She writes, yeah, I'll finish the movie and leave like a good girl. So here comes the first like token resistance from her, you know, the first like, okay, a little withdraw of I'm not giving myself that easy to the guy, you know, although I'm sexually aroused, maybe, probably she was, but I still have to be a good girl, you know. I still, otherwise, you know, she gets the slut shaming, and she has to give those kind of token resistance. But you as a guy has to know how to overcome it. If my hand starts wandering off, you can punish me. Now again, she gives us a little bit more to play with. Yeah, that sounds good, but what kind of punishment do you want to receive? Now, what we're doing here basically is we take her own text and push it back to her, you know, play the ball back to her of, hey, answer this. How do you understand, you know, what kind of punishment you speak of? And of course, and you will have most likely girls who will write, surprise me, you know, they feel too ashamed yet to tell you their punishment fantasies. So they kind of push the ball back to you, so you have to answer. And what I did, and I have spared no expense or effort. Everything for my students, you know, I went on Pornhub, typed in horror theme, found this movie, watched this movie, took a screenshot at the best scene with the ghost face mask, you know, the perfect scene. I screenshotted, of course, trimmed it, so you won't see everything, and send it to my student. You know, as I said, I'm doing everything for my students to get them laid, and this is how far I will go for you guys. We just sent her this picture with this kind of emoji. She writes, oh boy, that's not until the 5th date. Another token objection. She has to basically always think about in your head, she has to give you this kind of objections. And it's not punishment if I like it. But on the other hand, she as well plays the push and pull strategy here, because every time she withdraws, but then again, gives something back. Of course, what we're gonna do, and as you can see, we never kind of logically explain ourselves. You know, hey, I'm not a serial killer, never throw in any negations and stupid lines. But we always try to stay humorous as well as flirty. You know, we always stay very lighthearted with our responses. So write back, such a bad girl, love it. Well, then I have to think about something else. How about tying up your hands to make sure you can keep them on your side? on our first date. I have to make sure I'm safe. Now what we are doing here again, and if a girl is showing compliance to our texts, you know, if a girl gives compliments, shows compliance, what we do, we give her a treat, and we as well reward her compliance and compliment her as well, and write, hey, I love it, you know, I love your open-mindedness, I love your spontaneity, I basically like that you're such a girl. And then what we are doing is we basically reframe this whole prey and hunter situation. And trust me, many girls want to have here and there this fantasy of I'm hunting the guy, you know. And this is what we're gonna do here. We totally reframe and saying, hey, I have to be safe on the first date, you know. And this is perfectly fitting for if you want to overcome such objections. And she writes, sir, which is very good here. I'm in the lab in the middle of work and I'm not supposed to read messages like this. So when it comes to giving each other nicknames of bad girl and sir, yeah, as I said, we turned this girl who ghosted on us, who wasn't even interested in meeting up, suddenly like sexually aroused. That makes the whole thrill of doing something forbidden even better. Again, emoji, 3 dots, keeping up this open sexual fantasy. And she writes, can't disagree. Now this is really like heating up like a microwave, you know. Well, then we should make it reality before you secretly daydream away at your work about forbidden fantasies and somebody catches you. Wrote basically enough now that we feel that the emotional invest is high as well as the sexual arousement is high enough. So she will say yes to a date suggestion. And the likeliness of flaking again or ghosting again is very minimal now. That's a mistake many guys are doing as well when it comes to sexualizing, and they sexualize well, then they overdo it, you know. They overdo it to a point where the girl has enough and she's satisfied and say, hey, yeah, that was it. Or anyway, it's stupid to sexualize here further because we found out that she's at work. And I mean, it's the middle of the day, you know, it's like 1:30 p.m. So it's stupid to sexualize further if you cannot meet her up anyway. You can meet her up maybe after work, but we don't know her time schedule yet. So we go here for the close. She writes, I think yes. So we are again, good girl, when you have time the next days. And this is again a line from me. If you watch my another video, then you will get a sense of why do I love this line. And it's my personal line of closing girls like this. She writes, I'm going to blah blah, it's a city with friends tomorrow, Sunday maybe. So again, it's perfect, like 4 days later. That fits of course for us. We write, yes, it's perfect, 8 p.m. fitting you. What we do, what's the plan? Hey. Now here comes, we already sexualize enough to not really want to lose it on going for drinks. We want to, of course, at this point, get a straight home date. And we keep it very vague. With, oh, we're just watching a horror movie. She writes, which one? We write, this will be a surprise. Okay, and where? Now here comes the where. She's asking about the where. We just effortlessly respond, let's go to you and watch there. I can bring some wine or snacks. Now what we're doing is basically, we try to tone down a little bit more pressure. Instead of just leaving this one line with let's go to your place, we write, hey, we can bring wine or snacks. Or for example, you can write, do you like popcorn or nachos more? You know, you put more emphasis, you put more weight on something basically not important for you, but to give her kind of excuse route, to give her a kind of less pressureful way of agreeing, you know, to the home date. She writes, okay, gosh, I've never done a first date at home, so the concern gets a little bit bigger now. We write, well, then this will be your first time. And of course, with a wink emoji. It's very important. And as you can see, if we would leave this emoji away, for example, it would have a total different meaning, way more pressureful than with a smiley wink emoji. And of course, a total different meaning with a devil emoji, let's say, or a pervert wink emoji. Are you in? And we refer to the city my student is from, because we actually don't know much. I just told him, hey, check again Tinder, how many kilometers is she away from you? So we make sure that it's not somebody who lives on the other side of the world. And she writes, oh, you agreed to come even without knowing where I am? Yeah, I have a good intuition. You can come, of course, good intuition because I made him checking. And we write, you can come to me, I have good wine here. Now, I think my student was free on a Sunday because he's living still with his parents. So again, something probably most of you guys are facing, what to do if I live with my parents, I don't have logistics, you have to learn to pull to a girl's place. That's what I have to learn. And I can tell you, many girls feel more comfortable to have a guy over their place than going to a random guy's place, a guy they don't know, they never seen before. And this, as I said, this girl is from an online dating app. We never saw her before. And yeah, many girls feel more comfortable that way. So you have to learn this. Then we add, do you like red or white wine more? Again, we, same as I said before, we give her an option of, okay, this is more emphasis we're gonna put on white or red. Haha, it's okay, you can bring some with you, red. Now reading between the lines, she gives us the statement that it's fitting to her if we come to her place. Right, perfect, so I can come over to you then, but we wanna of course ask again to make sure. Hope you have a cozy blanket in case the horror movie will be too much for me. I have a blanket, you can test it if it's cozy or not. My house is a mess right away now though. Of course, girls always come up with this, and somehow they are right, because I've been to many places. I can tell you, girls live so messy. You know, you see the hottest girl out there, and most of them living so fucking messy, and they are right. I can tell you that. Rewrite. Good morning. For sure will do. Haha, it's fine. You can blindfold me and only take it off once I'm sitting in front of the TV. Now this is a personal line again by me, a line you can use not only in Textgame but as well in cold approach situations when you're or live interactions when you're pulling. We add, which time does work for you? If you watched my other video, I never been the guy as well to concretize everything in once, because it's too much of pressure, it's too much of information overload. She's like, oops, I don't have a TV either. Well, I have to use my laptop. There's a lot to compromise on, and she's right. Blindfolds, oh, I thought you're just watching a film, or we are just watching a film. 7:38 works, perfect. So respond, haha, love your compromises. Of course, you have to remember to be a good girl and keep your hands by yourself, otherwise I'll have to punish you. Sure, let's do 8. What's your address? Now we basically refer to the message she sent us previously of punishment, and we continue with our red path of asking, let's do 8, and asking about the address. She gives us the address, and now she comes with, gosh, I've never done this. I'm doubting if it's a great idea now. Now, the thing we did earlier, when there have been some token objections coming up, you know, some resistance here and there, we just ignore them because it wasn't really something which has to be solved right away, because we just amped up emotions. She totally forgot about it. She went along with it. But now there is something which we have to address. And this is a big mistake of not to. I've done it a couple times, and yeah, I totally get you. It's also a thrill for me, but a positive one, as I've always met only cool, open-minded people, and actually finding the right vibe and chemistry was way more natural and less pressure than an artificial environment where both feel not home. I will bring some popcorn and wine, and you're gonna choose the movie. I trust you on this. Now here again, I don't wanna go into the second message, because this is again something I did earlier 2 times already, if you can remember. Turn down pressure and make her think more about the popcorn and the movie than the actual fact of, hey, I've never done this before. And she's right, she's never done this before, because it turned out she's actually a virgin later on. And what we are doing in this message, I would rather focus on a big text here, but this is the perfect text. Sales 101, you know, we want to get a straight home date, and we sell this idea to her, address it. Hey, I totally get you. And we have done this a couple of times before, although my student at this point, I think he's done it, maybe this was his 2nd time ever. I don't want to lie, because as I said, he was very inexperienced himself. It's a thrill for me, but of course a positive one, as I've only met cool, open-minded people. Now we refer to other people, hey, all people, and therefore we basically address to this maybe serial killer vibes and stuff that she feels uncomfortable. We address that, hey, everybody was a good and open-minded, cool person we met. And for me, you know, this typical my line again, chemistry vibe line, you can again copy-paste. I've talked about it in many videos. And it's less pressure as having a date at home than an artificial environment. We refer basically to any environment outside of the home as something artificial, something fake, and people are not that open-minded as they would be at home, which is totally bullshit, but we have to go along with it, you know, as we want to get the home date. She writes, I have some tequila with me in case we want to get shit drunk. Now and girls need it, you know, girls need this, alcohol as a justification, as an excuse they can put the blame on. And we just go with it with, haha, awesome. I think watching horror movies will hit different with tequila. I still haven't picked a film. We can choose together, it's fine. I'm at this floor, hi, come to this floor. I'm coming downstairs, I'm here at the floor. So basically one screenshot was only like logistics, downstairs logistics here. Give me a minute, then sleep well. 4 hours later, I will, you too. Next day we wrote, hey cutie, really enjoyed the time yesterday with you. Love the pleasant morning and your juice still on my lips. Although we're such bad survivors, both violated the most important horror movie rule, haha. And refer to as you watched enough Scream as me did, and one of my favorite horror movies.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex.
Hey, 0 rules were followed. I know rules are there to get broken. Do you have time today? Little busy. Hey, you free right now? I could use some cuddles for an hour. Yes, I come over. So basically we turned this girl into F-buddy for my student. Satisfied student, I hope you're satisfied as well. Learned much, gained much value out of this video. If yes, then make sure to like, comment and subscribe. We see each other in the next one. Peace out.